everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I am just quickly popping on to start a little intro. So these next 5 recipes are my top 5 favourite recipes for me to make for my little boy. So I find them really easy, he really enjoys eating them, and I like to think that they are quite nutritious, you know, have plenty of protein and all the vitamins and minerals and nutrition that a baby would need, carbs, fats and protein. So thank you for clicking onto the video, and I hope you enjoy my recipes slash cooking. I am by no means a professional at all, but I just wanted to share my favourite weaning recipes and a lot of you asked for it, so here we go.
Would you stay till the morning light, or would you follow me?
So this is currently one of Casper's favourite breakfasts, and it's so simple and easy to make, and it's especially great to make the night before, pop it in the fridge, and then it's just there ready and waiting for breakfast. So firstly we just mash the banana and mix it all together so we can make it nice and soft. We then add a few spoonfuls of Greek yogurt, so I just use the Aldi one and it is 0% fat Greek yogurt. I then add a handful of oats and some linseeds. I would usually use chia seeds, but unfortunately I actually had run out when I was making this video, but I do usually use chia seeds, and chia seeds are also great for babies' bowels, as when they are mixed overnight with things like yogurt, water and milk, they hold onto a lot of moisture and they can help bowel movement as well. So I would definitely recommend using chia seeds in this recipe. I then add a handful of raspberries, as they are currently Casper's favourite, and they just mix really well into this recipe as they go really nice and soft. Once this is all mixed together, I will then just finish off with a little drop of cinnamon. Cinnamon is a great spice to add to babies' meals, and it is also a great tool for teething. Once all mixed together, I will pop in the fridge overnight and then bring it out for breakfast the next day. So this is one of my favourite recipes to make. They are great for lunchtime or tea time. Casper absolutely loves them and I kind of like them as well. So firstly we just roll out some ready-made puff pastry, and I will then add some classic pesto and spread it all around on the pastry just so it's a nice thin layer. I will then add a nice evenly spread layer of grated cheese, so I just use a normal cheddar cheese for this, and I just spread it nice and evenly just so there's a nice good layer of cheese, because obviously that adds the nice gooiness to the pinwheels once they have been in the oven. I will then finally chop the spinach, so you really need to make sure that this is chopped well, as obviously it's going to be going into the baby's mouth and you don't want any really stringy bits, so the more finely chopped it is, the better. Again, once that is all chopped, I will do exactly the same and just finely spread it across the top of the pastry so there is a nice even layer of pesto, cheese and spinach. I will then take a sharp knife and start cutting into really thin strips, and then finally rolling all the way to the top and placing on a baking tray with either foil or baking parchment paper. Once this has all been done, you will then need to egg wash your rolls. So I am just using egg whites just because I don't really want to be cracking one egg just to egg wash a few pastries. I know it is better to use a whole egg because the egg yolk does help, but the egg whites will do for me. So I've just poured the egg whites into a little dish and I am just egg washing all the pastries. I am then widely spreading them out on the tray, as when they are popped into the oven they do expand. And then here they are straight out of the oven. So these taste amazing when eaten straight away, but I do let most of them cool and then pop them in the freezer, as they are a great batch cooking recipe, and then I will just get them out a few hours before serving them to Casper.
change.
So this is literally one of the quickest and easiest recipes ever. I've just boiled some pasta. I have some tuna left over from the day before. I am popping it all in a Tupperware, and then I will add a few spoonfuls of Philadelphia, mix it all together, and then once it's mixed, I will just finely cut it up a little bit, just because Casper can sometimes shove a lot in his mouth, so I would rather than just have a few smaller pieces of the pasta. But he absolutely loves this recipe. It takes 5-10 minutes at the most to make, and it is so quick and easy, and you can also pop it in the fridge and serve for a few days.
There is nothing in between. So baby, we should start living now. 'Cause we only have this life.
So taste wise, this is one of my favourite ever recipes. I firstly grab the bread and start cutting off the crusts. I will then crack an egg into a Tupperware, add some cinnamon just for some extra taste, and I will then start chopping my blueberries into the same dish. Once I've added all the blueberries, I will mix this all together just so that the egg is broken up and obviously it's all mixed well. I will then add some milk. So today I've added coconut milk, but I would usually add cow's milk to this recipe, but we didn't have any left in the fridge. But coconut or almond milk works perfectly fine as well. I will then dip the bread and let it soak into the mixture, and then pop it into the pan. You then want to cook it in the pan for around 5 minutes, just so that you know that the egg is all nice and cooked. You also want to make sure that each side is cooked as well, so you need to keep flipping the bread so that it's evenly cooked on each side, and all the blueberries will mash into the bread. Once it's all finished, I will chop onto a plate or a chopping board just to let it cool down. I will then sometimes add peanut butter on top of this, but today I have decided not to. Once it has cooled, I will finally chop into strips and add it to Casper's plate. I have also saved some of this to serve tomorrow, and I am just adding a yoghurt alongside this meal today. So often I will give Casper a lot of fruit pouches, but I also like to try and make my own as well. So I will just cut up some strawberries and pop them into the blending cup. I will then chop a banana and add that as well. I will then add some whole milk just so it blends nicely, and also some ice just to add the texture. I then add the chia seeds, and once I've added all this, I will blend it all together and make sure it is well blended. So once it is all blended together, I will just then add it to these little snack pots from Sainsbury's. So these are great for adding any weaning and blending recipes, or also just using for snacks. I then add all of these to the freezer, and then I will get them out 2 to 3 hours before serving, so they have a sort of sorbet yogurty texture rather than just being fully melted into a smoothie.